just not mentioning the fact that Anakin lived. Kind of obviously
I
playing
got
off
the
what
live chat
Obi-Wan has
on.
said about Vader and Anakin,
Get
that
the
they were kind of
lights.
different people, which I right away didn't like because it sort of turned Luke into a bit of a liar, but it was ultimately what I decided to go with. Either way, I
Actually, no,
figured I
that's
could
good.
make the story a bit longer or much longer. It was going to be hours long,
Mm,
and it wouldn't be so boring because I could add a bit
yeah.
of action and excitement to it. Plus, it was a fascinating concept, I thought, because what does Anakin do if he survives after coming back to the light and goes back out into the galaxy? One that wouldn't recognize him. And my idea for that was that in secret, since Anakin was always good at fixing things and creating stuff, that he'd been making himself a new suit in his castle, one that was nothing like the old one. So after he escapes the Death Star, he goes and
Um,
gets his new suit and goes out into the galaxy, and no one knows who he is.
I need more Tide. My clothes never feel fresh without it. Well, let's run to Target.
I was watching anyway, so I'm gonna wear this little holy wife beater and do what I do.
What is wow? It's innovation in
Until
chemistry
someone
is
appears. Of
unlocked.
course,
It's
then
always
I'll
been there.
be
The power of
willing to chat,
versatile. Colgate
ask
Optic White
answer
Pro Series
questions,
delivers
all that good
five
stuff.
Liberty Bibbity. That's my name. I tell everyone it feels great getting great coverage and savings on car
Hit the
insurance
gym,
with
so
Liberty
I'm feeling
Mutual.
right.
Liberty Bibbity. Don't overdo it. Great coverage.
And there were a couple things I wanted to explore with the story. One simply being, what the hell does Darth Vader do now? Another was going more into the prophecy of the Chosen One, what exactly he was supposed to have done. And I wanted to add a little bit more to it, like there was something left for him to do in regards to all that. I wanted a little mystery in this as well. I also wanted some fun and very interesting interactions with the Force Ghost of Obi-Wan, or between him and Obi-Wan. Those were some of my favorite things to write. And finally, and most importantly, I really wanted to explore how Anakin would live with the guilt over everything he or Vader had done. How does he even begin to make things right or even live with himself? And the problem I ran into while writing it was that he really can't. Anakin is redeemed in the eyes of his son only, which is fine and works perfect for the movie, but there's no way for him to ever really make up for what he had done, no matter how hard he tried or what he did.
And it's the most touching
Even
scene
just
in
the
Return of the
slaughtering
Jedi.
of a room full of younglings, when you
Tell
really
your
think about it
sister
for just a second, what that
you
would
were
mean for
right.
someone in the real world doing that is
Tell her
absolutely horrendous, and
you
you
were
just can't
right.
ever really make up
Like,
for that, no matter
he
what
was
you
the
do.
big bad of all
And
three
so I ran
movies.
into this issue
Well,
of,
the Emperor
do
kind
I
of
really even
overshadowed
want
him
to
as
tell
the
a
big
story
bad
where
in the
Anakin
third
gets
movie.
any kind of closure
But
and
people were
has some sort
genuinely
of
sad for
happily
Darth
ever
Vader at
after,
the end
or
of
do I
Return
make
of
it
the
a sad
Jedi.
ending where he
And
gives
that's
his
even
son or
before the
something along those
prequels had
lines,
came
which is
out and
just
people
like the real
realized
ending,
who
only
he was
drawn
as
out
Anakin
now.
Skywalker.
And for a while, I decided to aim for that
People
happy,
were
though
sad.
maybe a bit
Well,
bittersweet
some
ending,
people
but I was
were
just
sad
never happy
when
with
he
it as
died
a
at the end of
whole. It
Return of
kept
the
feeling
Jedi.
like, again, I'm drawing out the ending of
And
Return
there
of
was
the
no need to
Jedi. I'm
put
not
that
delivering anything
no,
close to as good as what we got
no
there.
when he
So
saves
what's the
when he
point?
saves Luke and
Plus, there was
throws
a part of me that
Emperor
just kept
Palpatine down
saying, does he
the
really deserve any kind
that
of
you know
happy
that
ending,
little
even though he kind of
shaft or
gets one
whatever.
by becoming a Force Ghost? But what would people really think about me giving him, again, a happy ending? Even if I knew that anyone
Hell,
who
you was
watched it
giving him
would,
a happy
I'm
ending.
pretty sure
Pause.
anyway, they'd understand I wasn't trying to in any way condone
Yeah.
or justify anything Vader had done along the way or before returning to the light, or imply he was making things right. I kept telling myself as I was writing it that stories aren't meant to be blueprints for how things should be in the real world, but a place to explore very human emotions or realities in sometimes very exaggerated or even very extreme ways. Meaning that it makes more of an interesting or compelling story to see Darth Vader trying to make things right after he terrorized the whole galaxy than it is to, say, see Johnny make things right after stealing a candy bar from the store, because we know that Darth Vader isn't real. We know he didn't actually kill anybody. But the idea that someone could do that much wrong and still find redemption is pretty powerful. And it reminds us that no matter what we have done wrong, big or small, we can still make the right choice in the end. You can still choose to be a better person and learn from the mistakes of your past rather than continue or repeat them. That's why so many of us fans, myself included, still love Anakin Skywalker and why we forgive him and want him to have a happily ever after. That's why I was writing the story. He's not just a bad guy from a movie, he's a mirror to our own inner darkness and our never-ending fight to try and overcome it. And he won in the end, even if the rest of the galaxy, outside of Luke, would never come to believe that or see it or ever begin to forgive him. And that's important because I'm going to move on to another movie now, Spider-Man Brand New Day. So if you haven't seen it and you don't want anything ruined or spoiled, you may want to click away for the rest of the video. But I recently
It's
got
been
asked
2
in a
weeks,
comment
so
about the character of
I'm
Jean
done
Grey
with the
from that
non-spoilers.
movie and how she seems to be forgiven. And I mean,
And no
by
one's watching
characters
anyway,
in
so.
story. And make no mistake, she does some really, really messed up things to people. Stuff that, though maybe not on the level of Darth Vader, is still stuff that, had it been done in the real world, assuming someone could have the powers she does, it would be absolutely unforgivable. And again, there is a good deal of flexibility in story because we, the audience, know or should know that it is indeed a movie and you can go to extremes to make a point at times in movies. But you do still have to be careful about how the characters in the story
She was not.
react and the
Mary
message
Jane
that
was.
could
I mean, not
potentially
Mary Jane,
send.
sorry.
Vader only being
Jean Grey
redeemed
was
as
not
the son and in the
redeemable
hearts and
in
minds of
Spider-Man
his
Brand New
fans because
Day.
we know he's a fictional character.
The mind
That's one
control,
thing. It's an
trying to
incredible ending.
get
But
people
if
to
Vader
kill
does live and
themselves,
goes back with
trying to
Luke and
get
everyone just
Spider-Man
kind of
to take
forgives
advantage
him,
of Mary
that sends
of
a very
MJ
different message, and one that does
while she
not
was
work
under her
quite so well,
control.
if at all, anymore. Hell, even in the
Irredeemable.
Ahsoka series, her, Ahsoka, not being, shall we say, a little bit more upset at Anakin is kind of sketchy in my opinion. And I'm not saying that I don't believe in second chances in the real world. I'm more saying we should encourage people to try and be good the first time around, knowing that, yeah, we're all going to make mistakes of some kind, instead of encouraging this idea that once you screw up big, and I mean really big, that people should just forgive you. Not, again, that I don't believe in forgiveness, but yes, there are some things that are difficult to forgive. And so, as is the case with a lot of things in the real world, there are fine lines here. And films should be careful about how easily they imply people can be redeemed for the worst of things. Again, in story. Things that would be seen as virtually irredeemable in the real world should also not be blown off by people in story, or you're going to start to send the way wrong message.
Exactly.
Well, I think that's going to be all I got for you this time. Now it's your turn to take to the comments below and tell me what you think about
Like
redemption.
at the end of the Spider-Man Brand New Day, I didn't
Vader's redemption.
have
How
the take
Jean
that she
Grey
was
handled and then
redeemed,
do with Spider-Man
that she's
movie.
now a good guy
Or you can
because
ask
we
me
know her as
questions
Jean
for a
Grey from
future
the X-Men.
lightning response
Also,
video. All
I
you
just
gotta do
know
is check your comment
she's
properties or ask your question. I try to answer
at
it in
best
the
an
video. But
anti-hero,
whatever the case may be,
and
leave your
she's
comments
not really
below.
redeemed
Let's talk some Star
because
Wars.
she
And until next time,
helped Spider-Man
thanks
at
for
the end
watching.
after all she did. Nope.
Anyway, safe drivers save money with snapshots since they're not.
That's
going to
take at least a whole other movie
Hang on, I love
to
this part. Have you seen the
redeem
dancing
her.
parakeet?
Now, this show, we take our responsibility very seriously here to alert the audience to important new trends that are coming up. And there is an important one. It was in the Wall Street Journal this week. The headline was, "This summer's hottest accessory is a private equity boyfriend." This is, what? You're laughing, but for successful women like yourself, I'm sure you're taken, but for successful women, you gotta have a private equity boyfriend. Reese Witherspoon has one, Nicole Kidman, Olivia Rodrigo, Andy Cohen. It's the biggest thing. So we were curious, what are the pickup lines that the private equity boyfriends are using? So we Googled it. Would you like to hear some of it? This is from the private equity. Are you from the Midwest? Because I'd like to ruin your downtown. I guess I'll have to offer your ass a buyout because I see it just won't quit. I'm not into anal, but I have had the Securities and Exchange Commission up my ass. I don't know know if you're running a Ponzi scheme, but you've already made off with my heart. I see us growing old together. Well, you growing old. I have access to Peter Thiel's blood guy. You look like a younger Charlize Theron, which is good because the real one put out a restraining order on me. Your place or mine? Actually yours, because mine has been doxxed by Mandana. And come on my boat. I don't want to brag, but if it had any more coke on it, Pete Hegseth would blow it up.
I just got the budgeting app.
What? How?
Base 44. Look, it pulls all our expenses into one place and breaks down spending by team.
Nice. That's actually pretty good. You're going for generic.
How about now?
Oh,
You guys like the hole in my wife beater?
Anything else?
Bullet hole.
It's
It's not a bullet hole.
Can it track spending trends?
Only can auto flag overspending.
Done.
Nice.
Last time I interacted with a firearm is in the gun range, and that was
We
way
want the
too long
colors to
ago. I
feel
really need to
vibrant,
go back.
To feel organic inside the home. We want it.
I even say with my wife, I'm gonna
to
take her
make your
uncles
space
and
look
cousins
beautiful.
to the range when I come back
love
there as a
chemical
treat.
prints, mixing florals.
Maybe for like a
You'll have
house,
to get
maybe
the
during
answers to
holidays
these
or something.
questions correct to get your citizenship. All right?
In layperson's terms, defamation is slandering someone with a false accusation. This is a false accusation. It is a false assertion that Hassan Piker believed that lynching should resume. Now, to your point about the legalities of it and actual malice or reckless disregard for the truth.
After this, guys, I'm going to
Given
cover
that
something
Jennings'
about the
whole
lantern. So
stance on Piker is a crazy left-wing guy.
again, there's no here
It
to
would
spoil
be,
this for, but
I
if it
think,
is someone here to spoil it
a
for,
very
you've been warned. I'm going to watch a
minimal
clip that
amount
kind
of
of
research that would make you
mocks
think
the
would
first
a
episode
very,
of
very
Lanterns.
left-wing guy
And it and
be
trust
in
me, it
favor
deserves
of
to be mocked. I
lynching
watched it
black people?
yesterday, and I
I
was
mean, that seems to me
just
obviously different from
why
saying,
why is
does
this
Sam
happening?
Piker, as you
And the
condemn
funny thing is, it would be a
General
good
Mao,
show if it
because
wasn't
they,
about
you know, have
Green
issues with
Lanterns,
American
but
foreign policy and how it contributed
the
to
fact that you
9/11.
put the Green
So
Lanterns
it
in
would have
it,
been a rudimentary amount of research.
even though you're
that
trying to
would
make
have
a show
proven
that
the
resembles
reverse
True Detective,
versus this.
it's like,
It was in keeping with,
no.
you know, black
If you're gonna
voters in the
put the
Democratic
Green
Party
Lanterns in it,
are a moderating
make it
force
comic
against
book,
the
like
DSA
make it
as his
make the
version
mythos
of
of the Green
primaries,
Lanterns accurate.
where the older and black voters
You don't get to
are
pick and
actually less
choose what
supportive
from the
of
lanterns
Hassan
you want to
Piker type
use
candidates.
while still
It's,
calling it a show about the Green Lanterns.
So
They don't even call it Green Lanterns, you just say lanterns because you're too embarrassed to put green in it.
I
Like
mean,
that
it's on the
somehow
basis
makes it
that I
less
think that some
comic
of the
booky.
most left-wing policies he favors are not.
We're gonna watch
constitutional.
that next.
You,
After
you said this is,
this
you know,
news clip
layman's
from
understanding whether it's
Rise
not,
of
but
the
that's not
Hill
at all what
that
we're
I
talking
didn't
about. We're
finish
talking about
earlier, so I'm
whether
gonna
it
watch it
rises to the standard of
on
defamation
on
that
live
he's suing him. And
stream
I'm
with
telling
you
you
guys.
why it won't fly, or why it's at least highly contestable. He says it's the
I have-
clearest case of defamation ever. It's
I have
not,
nothing wrong with
because you might
Scott
think he would
Jennings
say, again,
make a
I wouldn't think he would say that,
showing
and it's a
how
true profession of
outrageous
his
some of the
actual
things
beliefs.
Hassan
I'm
Piker
not even
has
sure
said.
American deserved 9/11 is a true profession of his actual beliefs. Did he say it? And you would think that he would say that about black people out of frustration that they're voting for Haley Stevens or whatever. Not that he actually thinks they should die.
Right. You would not, I mean, no reasonable person would think that Hassan Piker would respond to modest black support for progressive candidates by saying black people should be lynched.
Yes, I would.
I don't at all find that ridiculous. That he says crazy things.
exactly. He
He
says
says,
ridiculous
"My
shit all the
enemies
time.
should
So
die
yes, I
all
would
the
believe
time."
he
He
would say
said,
some shit like
F
that.
you and
The
screw
dude
you
came
like
to
an
a
old
speak.
lady who was
The
like,
dude came
communists were
to
mean
a
me. He was
formal
like,
event
"Shut the F up,
dressed
you should
like
be."
a
Okay. Not exactly
dressed like
what he
someone
said in
out
the
of
song, Don't Sue Me. He said some pretty
1970s communist China.
gratuitously awful things about people. He does it all the time. He talks on an internet stream for hours and hours and hours at a time. So that's not, to be clear, that's not what he meant. So it is unfair to say that that's what he meant,
Right.
and it's wrong.
Right.
Is
It is what he said, but yeah, it's
legally
not exactly what he meant
actionable?
because it was taken out of
No.
context.
Or
Still,
probably
he says
not.
stupid
Well,
shit.
Is what I'm telling you.
I am
And I have no problem with people calling them out on it, even if they're being disingenuous in how they call Hassan Piker
What
out.
I'm saying is he has obviously been wronged, and I think it is at the very least plausible that you could win a defamation case on the basis
He
of
won't
reckless
win.
disregard for
All they're
life.
going to do is
No.
play all the
Yeah,
crazy
you
shit
could
that
not.
he
Yes,
said in the
okay.
past.
I agree
And
with
be
the
like,
first
well, yeah,
part.
this sounds,
Jennings should
it's not
say,
unreasonable to
"I
think
got
he
that
might have
wrong,
said
that's
something
not what
like
he
this.
meant. He's contemptible for all these other reasons." That's fine by me. But they're public figures. The bar is so high.
And
You
exactly,
have
he's
to-
a public
this
figure,
isn't-
so the bar of
you know,
defamation
you
is going
said
to be
this
quite
about
higher than
Scott Jennings,
for a
you said
regular
this
person.
about some obscure person who's not a public person, and then the bar is much, much lower. And then you might be right.
Sure.
But for people participating in the opinion, having discourse on a daily basis, I mean, like, this is, you know, I write about speech cases.
Sure.
And, you know, so I recollect back to, like, I thought Sarah Palin had the New York Times pretty dead to rights over that, remember that editorial that
Yeah, the targeting of
about the targeting
Yeah.
of, she didn't win that one. The ones where they do win is like you know, the Covington kids was something I was very involved in, and there it was.
But they weren't public figures.
Right, he was not a public figure, so it's different. And it was statements not of opinion, because it was claims in the, and you almost feel bad for the media companies because they were just quoting a source, that Native American man who said, "He got in my way, he obstructed my way."
Sure.
And those were statements of, like, his position. They were untrue statements that, and then those, you know, those entities settled. So actually, we didn't get like a verdict of, but they
Right.
settled because it was not good for them.
Yeah.
Maybe there'll be a settlement here. So I have no idea. But
I mean,
I would not be afraid to defend this one in court.
there's no question that public figures have a higher bar to prove legal defamation.
Yeah.
But it's not an unclearable bar. I mean, public figures can win
It's not
the
unclearable,
defamation
but
cases,
Hassan Piker would
and I
never
think
win it.
The
He would never
issue
win it.
or the degree of wrong here is so egregious
All-
that I think it is.
He would never win it. All the
reasonable
defense attorney has to do
Right, you tell
is
us
show
what
that
you
he
think,
said crazy
and
shit
make sure to
before
tune in tonight at
that
7:30
would make
p.m.
it seem
Eastern
reasonable
Time.
that he
We'll
would say
cover
something
the
like that.
Florida, Wyoming, and Alaska primaries. News Nation's Corey Smith will anchor our coverage, and as always, we'll have sharp insights from reporters and political analysts. Stick around for more Rising. Stay with us.
In a world where summer hunger strikes, Chicken Palooza answers the call. Get any two-piece meal, Rofo chicken sandwich, or...
You might be underestimating me. It wouldn't be the first time. The big drug companies and hospital monopolies have the best lobbyists. I've got bad coffee, a half-eaten PB&J, and a sore back. The big drug companies and hospital monopolies set healthcare prices, and they're ruthless. But we've got math on our side. The receipts are clear. I work for America's health insurance providers. I negotiate lower costs for you. Once an underdog, always the underdog.
Are students losing the ability to write? Many students are using AI to help in the classroom, but now educators are sounding the alarm, saying that students
Wait,
should
do I
be
want
able to
to? Okay,
write
do I want to
without
watch the
the
Lanterns
help
thing
of a
first, or
computer.
the why black men are refusing to
This
have
comes
kids
after a
first?
small study from
Well, I mean, there's no one here to
showed that people who wrote with
I might
AI
watch. So
chatbots
yeah.
recorded lower brain activity while they wrote compared to those who didn't. And those who used the artificial assistance later struggled to remember what they had written and felt little ownership over it. That has led some educators to be worried that students...
I don't like in this clip he said, well, it's okay to use AI to do research. No, I think you should also do your own research, because learning how to find information is also a skill that shouldn't be just handed over to AI. So it's like, okay, you write your own paper, but
use
you
the
can
AI
let
for
the AI
that
do
are
the research
continuously
for you.
grown by people seemingly not understanding this.
No,
You can use the AI
I think
and
you
should,
still
and I
need
do,
to
and you do, for
learn
or
research.
in the same way
The
you Google
ability
something and
to
you'll browse
find
Wikipedia. Now you can't take everything
information,
Wikipedia says for dead fact, but Wikipedia has links to sources, and then
that
go to
is
the source and
researching.
make sure text
That
makes
is a
sense.
skill that
It's
shouldn't
doing
be
that
given to
marvelously,
AI either.
accurately, fast, so use it for that purpose. But then you have to ask
Yes,
yourself,
using the AI can be
you
faster.
write it
What
yourself,
I
because you're not the work.
what I would say
thinking
is
about it
you
in an
attempt to
educational
look for the
context.
information yourself.
The work
And
you're
then when it
doing,
gets
the
increasingly
exercise
difficult,
you're
then
doing
you can
is
fall on
what
the
AI
AI.
does
But
much faster,
you
which
should
is
still be able to
synthesizing
learn how to
information,
use these different
combining it
research
in your head, and
databases on
producing
your own.
something
Like
that
that
is
was a
persuasive
skill.
or
That was
communicative
part
to
of
someone
doing a
else.
research paper.
That is a skill.
Is looking for
And
research.
if you're
Like
really gonna take
he's
the time
saying,
that
yes, the
you don't need to
writing
do that at all, then don't even bother
writing
school.
the
Like,
paper
that's
is a
what's trying to
skill.
be instilled in you,
Researching the
ability to
information
do
you
that.
need to write the
So
paper
if
is
you're
also a
having
skill.
the AI
It shouldn't
actually do
be
that part,
handed over
well, then of course you're not
generative
you're not
AI.
exercising the skill.
Learning
That's
how
like
to find the
saying,
different
let's go to
research
the gym,
databases.
and then
Like
you do all the weightlifting, and I just stand there.
for
I
instance,
didn't.
I'm doing
I
a
didn't work
psychology
out.
paper.
You did.
I should know how to go
Right. I mean, look,
into
I am going to once again
different
show my
research
age here
databases
by recalling
like
that
Psych
I
Info
remember a time before the
and
internet was
other
widely used, and
research
for
databases.
research in our business, I was just at the start of my career. I had all these
APA,
files full of literally newspaper clippings that I could refer back.
SciNet or whatever.
Then
Like
Google
all
arrived,
these research
changed everything
databases, I
forever.
should be able
It's
to
not
go into
cheating
them
to Google
as I
things
did
that
when I
people
was
didn't
a
in the
a
cuttings.
research assistant
Similarly,
for
now
one
it
of
is
my
not
professors.
cheating for
Go in
research purposes to
and
go to
get this
for,
information
name my AI person of choice
myself without
and
relying on AI.
doing the same process. That's obviously different from
What I could use the AI for is
artificial
to assess the
page.
information that I've gathered.
Never doing. No, I do think it is
That
interesting just in some of this
that would be
research,
useful.
the fact that
But
I mean,
to
they reiterate
but to
something
hand it
that I
over to
suspect
AI,
you and I as
you don't know
well
whether the AI is
maybe
gathering
would
you
probably,
quality
agree with, which
information.
is the idea
So
that
you still have
writing
to assess
beyond being
whether this is
still
worthwhile
helps
worthwhile
one order
info
one's thoughts
to be
or structure
used
one's
in
thoughts,
your
make them
research paper.
defensible and hopefully logical. And the worry, I think, is that the more widespread
So
use of AI
I
by
don't think you
students
should
for writing
fish
will,
out research into AI
equally
either. I think the
Yeah, we
researching
have
should
to
be
just
done
be honest about
by
what
the person.
technology allows.
I think the
and
writing
it
should be
makes it
done
very
by
easy
the
for
person.
technology to do your papers yourself. So this has just got to be the case now. Sorry,
On
I've
the
actually been
and on
advising this for
the
a long time.
on the
It's all
teacher's
gotta be
end,
in
I
class
think the
essays.
grading should be
Forget
done by a
take-home
person.
papers, that's
Maybe not
done.
by the
Done.
professor.
Do not
They can hand
assign
it off
those.
to their
It's
grad
over.
students like they
Gotta
often do.
be in-class
They
essay. They show up.
they
The
often
exam. There's
hand
a
it over
prompt,
to their
reflect on
teaching
the
assistants or
setting
their
of
research
wuthering
assistants
heights and how
for
and
certain
so
stuff.
and what or whatever the question
But
is,
it's
and
better
they
to have a
will write it.
human eye
No
look stuff
computers in the
over
room,
than AI
bones away,
on
and
both
you have to
ends,
recall from
the
your
researching
own
and the writing
comprehension of the text and
and
that process
the
of synthesis, pen to
grading
paper, the old-fashioned way. No,
of said
take home, but
papers.
don't use computer. No, it's got to be in class and watched.
Well, I am generally in agreement with that. The one thing I would say is that my handwriting is terrible. So
Mine is.
Do we have actually? I don't know. Do we have a close up or not? I mean, it's like it is.
Yours is bad.
It's pretty bad.
Mine might be worse. I'm
Well,
left-handed.
no,
Yeah.
you don't have to
So
handwrite
mine
them.
is even
No one,
worse because
no
you have
one's,
smear
no one
everything.
handwrites
I know,
papers in
because we do
college.
the claw thing.
Yeah.
So yeah. So
Last time I hand wrote
suffered
a paper was
suffered
in
my
high
day in
school.
handwritten exams, but I do think, broadly speaking, they're the fairest.
We have to still teach handwriting courses.
And I'm pretty sure in high school they don't
Sure.
handwrite
And
papers
you
anymore,
have,
which is
cursive
why
Yeah.
most kids
for that?
I do.
don't know
Something a little
cursive.
antiquated.
There's
Yes,
actually
yes, I mean,
schools now that are specializing in like
cursive isn't taught more frequently.
Mm.
If you go back to fountain pens, Robert,
vintage
dip in
educational
in
skills, which are now
when I was at
starting to
high school,
teach
they used to have
young kids how to do
relatively old
cursive
desks.
all over
Now,
again.
I'm not this old, right? These were very old desks, but they had.
For me,
the
learning
rail
cursive was
of the
definitely an
desk,
impressive
the days of
skill
fountain pens,
because I was left-handed, and at the time they
Have you adapted to
they weren't teaching the nuance of how different it is to write cursive with a left hand. Some of those letters were hard writing it left-handed because
I mean, it's also the fact that
you're doing it in a different direction than a right-handed person, which is 75-80% of the student population. 75-80% of them were right-handed. So for us few left-handed folks, we actually had to figure it out on our own when it came to cursive writing.
I don't open messages until I'm ready to address them.
Mhm.
That's true of emails. This is my accounting system. I do
Now,
not open an email until I'm ready to
not
address it.
opposed to AI
So
for
I
doing
actually
stuff
it
like
being summarized without me having
email,
to send your text
responding
message,
to
like it'll
emails,
summarize the text messages, but I need to keep it as
learning,
an unread message because I'm once
learning
once it's
information
read,
that is
I
not
must deal with it.
that is not academic.
So I find that.
I might sound intellectually elitist, but I really don't give a fuck. Like,
well, this is why I was
if it's something for a job, and I can use AI to do it, I will use AI to learn job skills because I just don't have any appreciation for non-academic skills unless it's something that personally benefits me. So if a job wants me to learn certain IT skills, cybersecurity skills, HTML, CSS, I don't think anyone uses HTML, CSS anymore. As if this is like they're doing a page on MySpace from the 2000s. You just learn how to use HTML and CSS. Or blackplanet.com. Really old school.
TV journalism,
yeah,
I do think there's a shift toward
I don't mind using AI, like I said, to respond to and get through emails, to cover job skills that I find that are both non-academic and non-interesting. I know non-interesting is subjective, but non-academic. Like, if this is not something I would learn in the course of earning my 4-year degree, I don't find it worthwhile.
Will be monetized. View counts are changing. They'll now count as a view just the way it is on Twitter
or AI to do content creation. Absolutely,
it will count as a view.
essential.
View counts are gonna go way up, everybody. We're being rich after it all.
Like trying to figure, like unless you are trained in that sort of like graphic design and sort of audio stuff. Like, yeah, I'll generate AI all day. Ooh, I didn't see this. Anything? So about why something about Meta. Anything that I see just making it hard for Zuckerberg and his company, I'm for it.
Meta, the parent
I say what I
company
say.
of Instagram and Facebook, faces trial today in California in a federal court after 19 states sued alleging Meta's responsibility over youth social media addiction. Here to discuss is News Nation's West Coast bureau correspondent Nancy Liu. Hi Nancy, so tell us a little bit about this lawsuit. What are states accusing Meta of?
Well, Drew, this case is huge. This is described as the largest consumer protection lawsuit in history. We've got states going after $1.4 trillion in damages.
Whoa.
And it's actually
I'm still waiting for my
29
Meta
states
check from like
involved in
6
this
years
suit,
ago from
but
that big
it's a bellwether
lawsuit.
trial. So 4 states
Still waiting for
are
that from 6 years
representing the
ago.
group, and those states are California, Colorado, Kentucky, and
Probably
New
won't get it
Jersey,
because I switched banks.
and they
Now I had to
all
have
contend
updated them
that
to my new
Meta
bank
designed Facebook and Instagram
info.
to purposely hook young people.
Because
and
what will happen is it'll
teenagers,
probably go to my old
creating
bank account,
tools on
USAA,
those apps to
showing
keep
us closed, and
young
they'll just go
people
back. It'll be
on
sent
them
back
and
to Meta.
downplaying the risks to mental health, and excessive use has been linked to
Unless
anxiety
USAA
and
then
depression
forwards
and
it
even
to
suicide.
me
Behind me, there's an
as
ongoing
a
press
check,
conference with
which they
families
could do,
who've
but I
been
doubt it.
impacted by social media.
So I'm gonna just assume
All
I'm not
kinds of
getting it.
tragic stories. I just spoke to a mother, Drew, who lost her son, a 15-year-old son, in a case of sextortion, and it played out in a matter of 5 hours, and she had no idea he took his life in 5 hours' time because of a sextortion case. So this trial that's just getting underway, opening statements.
So originally I would have been like, this is just the parents need to monitor their kids, but there's so much more than this because there's like overwhelming evidence against social media not just
against
Meta,
Meta,
but Snapchat,
including
TikTok,
in Los Angeles earlier this year and in
some
New Mexico, where they're
other ones I
already
won't mention
been
because I'm
ordered to
using them
pay
currently.
$942 million in damages. So
That
this
have
is
been shown
another
to damage
massive case.
young
Drew?
users,
What can we
particularly
expect out
female
of this
users.
trial? I understand Mark Zuckerberg is actually.
But this was a male user who ended his own life over sextortion, which is messed
Yeah,
up.
and we saw him testify
hate
also
this
in
dude.
another case in Los Angeles earlier this
What a
year,
dick.
and he really tried to play up all of the protections that Meta has put into place, and he also testified about
If
age
you really want to,
restrictions
like, if you
and
really
the
want to damage
trouble
Facebook,
in,
just pull
enforcing
their Section 230
age restrictions. We're also expecting testimony here
privileges.
from the head
What's
of
it? Pull their
Instagram,
Section 230.
Adam Mosseri.
That's
But
what put them in
also,
line with
we will
the
have
Biden administration
documents,
back in the
internal documents
pandemic
from
was
Meta.
if
There
they
are Meta
didn't
whistleblowers who
do
talked
if
about
they didn't
how
follow
they
the guidelines of
purposely,
the
uh,
NIH
allegedly tried to hook
and
kids
WHO
and
guidelines,
keep them
then
on the apps.
the Biden
But
administration
right out of the
threatened to
gate
pull
in
their Section
opening
230
statements, Drew, the
privileges.
plaintiff's attorney described Meta's business model like this: hook the users, hold them for as long as they can, harvest their data, and then hide the truth. We're expecting this trial to go up to 7 weeks, and even opening statements are expected to last the entire
Man, I hope they lose
day.
this suit.
So quite a landmark
I hope
trial
they lose it.
underway here, Drew.
So you talk about the opening from the plaintiff. They're laying out the accusations. How does Meta respond to that?
Yeah, they're pushing back as well. Again, Mark Zuckerberg is expected to be here to testify on the stand. They did issue a very
I
lengthy
guess so when you got a
statement
$1.4
ahead of
trillion
this trial,
lawsuit.
and they called
Not
the financial
trillion
demands of
with a T.
$1.4 trillion with a T. It's unusual to use that term. Vastly disproportionate. Part of their statement reads, the AGs offered no proof anyone in their states was misled. An attempt to penalize Meta for industry-wide challenges like age verification. Rather than sticking to the facts or the law, the states have instead decided to chase an outlandish payout. And that figure, Drew, 1.4 trillion. I believe Facebook or Meta has a valuation of about 1.5 trillion. So certainly this is going to have huge ramifications should this case go against Meta. Drew?
I hope it
Yeah,
does.
I wonder if it does end up going against Meta. Does that threaten the viability of the country or of the company?
I hope
with
so.
That figure being so high.
I hope so.
That certainly is
Hope so.
the thinking.
I
Obviously,
hope so.
Meta is pushing back on all of the decisions that have been made. There are appeals against
Certainly
a
hope so.
number of cases, and we'll see how this case plays out. The jury situation here, Drew, is pretty interesting. It's an advisory jury. It's a panel of 8 people. They're going to listen to all the testimony. They're going to weigh all the evidence, and they're going to come up with a verdict, but the judge doesn't necessarily have to agree with their verdict. The judge very much wanted an advisory jury because she felt that this case has vast implications and it's important to have some public input. So there's an advisory jury here, and which is somewhat unusual, but definitely not unheard of in this system.
All right, we'll have to leave it at that. Great information. News Nation.
Yes, it is.
Bureau correspondent Nancy Liu will continue to follow.
Great
It could be
information.
a very interesting and important trial there in California. Thank you.
Thing, she looked old for an Asian lady. When an Asian lady looks old, they really old. They must be like in their 70s.
I just need to replenish a few items: grocery list, bags, card, and of course.
Our healthcare heroes deserve benefits that work as hard as they do. For over 60 years, American Fidelity has supported administration.
When it comes to movie and TV franchises, there is an art and a skill to writing a film in such a way that you
Looks like I'm
don't
freezing.
need to have watched any previous installments in order to enjoy it and understand what's happening in the story. Casual audiences should find your film accessible without needing to have seen several seasons of a TV show or watched a bunch of previous movies. But for hardcore fans who have seen those films and TV shows, they benefit from having additional information, additional context. So the logic should be, you don't need to have seen those other productions, but it helps. And that's how your film should be written. It should work on two levels, for fans and for casual audiences. And a classic example of this, off the top of my head, is Star Trek First Contact, the eighth Star Trek film.
Oh,
it's about the Borg.
That's why I wanted to show my wife.
Time travel back to the aftermath of the Third World War. Zefram
Oh, no,
Cochrane
I did
is
show my wife
developing
this
his
movie.
warp ship.
It was
And
Insurrection.
First
I
Contact
wanted
with
to
the
show her.
Vulcans. It explores Picard's trauma and desire for revenge, having been assimilated by the Borg. And yet, you can appreciate all of these plot elements without having watched any Star Trek episodes or movies before it. The film's exposition gets you up to speed in no time. But hardcore Trek fans, they know Zefram Cochrane appeared in the original series. They know that the USS Defiant is a ship from Deep Space Nine, where Worf is now stationed. They've seen Picard be assimilated and liberated from the collective in the episode Best of Both Worlds from The Next Generation. And it's nice to have seen those episodes before watching First Contact, but it's not essential. But sadly, it appears that the same cannot be said for Avengers Doomsday, which apparently has a list of essential Marvel movies and a TV show for you to watch before seeing it. I have to say I'm not surprised.
I've seen them
given
all,
the
but
number of
yeah.
characters who appear in the movie, from the likes of the Fantastic Four and the Thunderbolts. And I think it was inevitable that the film was going to be exposition heavy and simply just juggling too many characters. And as a result, some homework is likely required. Well, this is
Well,
an
that was the
article
same
from
with
Screen
Endgame.
Rant,
A lot of homework.
and I
But
will
most
include links
people
below if you want to read the whole article.
back then
It
were
says
willing to
Disney
do it
Plus
because
confirms
those movies
15
were largely
essential
good.
Marvel movies and shows to watch before Avengers
Whereas the
Doomsday.
Infinity Saga was
15.
largely bad.
15.
All the
Are you
all the
actually
Spider-Man
kidding me?
movies were good.
So much for this just
Join
being a
Infinity
sequel to
Saga.
Avengers Endgame. It says Avengers Doomsday is getting closer to its theatrical release in just a couple of months, as the film was recently highlighted at big
Deadpool,
events like
Wolverine,
San Diego Comic-Con and, as of this week,
and Guardians of the
D23
Galaxy 3.
2026.
Those are the
However,
4
Disney
good
Plus
movies.
has now shared a watch list of Marvel
No,
films
no,
and
no.
series
Now give
for viewers
Fantastic
to
Four.
check
Fantastic
out
Four was
on the
actually
streaming
good.
platform
I'll give
before the
you
ensemble feature
Fantastic
this
Four.
December. Check out the
It
full
didn't do well,
breakdown
but it was a
below.
good movie.
Okay, so look at this list. Marvel movies and shows to watch before Avengers Doomsday per Disney Plus. X-Men.
That's not even that's not even
X-Men
MCU.
and X2. So the first two X-Men films, seriously, why? A film from 2000 and a film from 2003. I mean, other than the fact that the first film introduces the X-Men, what could the individual stories of those two films possibly have to do with Doomsday? I mean, everybody knows
Just an
who
introduction to the
X-Men are
X-Men
anyway.
characters. That's why.
Like, why would you absolutely need to have watched those films first?
Because the
Captain America, the
introduction
first
to the
Avenger.
characters and the people who play them.
Why? Is Red Skull and Hydra back or something? The Avengers, as in the first Avengers movie from 2012. Why? Again, why? I mean, you really need to have watched the first Avengers movie. Avengers Infinity War and Endgame. Okay,
Those make sense.
they obviously make sense.
Yes.
But to be fair, they are movies from 2018 and 2019.
I swear when you hear these
And I
people
really don't think
repeating
you should
what I
have
just
had to
said,
watch
I'm not.
those
I
films
didn't
from
previously
several
watch
years
these.
ago
It's
to know
just
what's
that
going on in
I'm
Doomsday. I
in,
mean, yeah,
I'm
sure.
in,
If it's a
I'm in
two-parter
sync
like
with
Infinity War
how
and
they're
Endgame,
thinking.
in order to understand what's going on in Endgame, you need to have seen part one, Infinity War. It's a cliffhanger, after all. And those films were 1 year apart. That's fair enough. But Doomsday is coming out 8 years
The only thing you
after
should have to
Infinity
watch
War
for
and 7
Doomsday
years after Endgame.
Infinity War,
Those films
Endgame,
shouldn't be
and
essential
Fantastic
watching
Four.
Doomsday.
That
There
should
shouldn't be
be it.
anything you need to have watched before Doomsday. I mean, to say nothing about the films released any further back than that. I mean, the X-Men films are from over 20 years ago. the first X-Men film came out 26 years ago. You're telling me that you have to watch it? Loki. What, Loki, the TV series Loki, which is 2 seasons. So people need to have watched 2 seasons of a TV show. Well, I guess, I mean, how else are people going to know?
Well, luckily it was only, what,
is?
8
I mean,
episodes?
The Time Variance Authority. How are people going to know what that is?
Well, 6
And what
episodes each,
Loki has
something
been
like
up
that.
to over there. Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings.
That was not good.
Don't sweat the technique.
But you gotta watch Shang-Chi just to know who he is.
J.A.C has expert
Obviously.
bankers and smart tools to help them manage it.
Wow. Now that's the first deposit. Let's get your account open.
J.A.C, make more of what's yours.
Why me? I've had this fight with me since the very start. I had people in my corner, believing in me. And now I'm here, giving back to the community that gave me everything.
At Capella University, we give you the support you need to go on to support others. What can't you do? Get away from having to just get there. With new Huggies Little Snugglers, nothing can interrupt the snuggle.
Why? That's a hard sell. Because the character of Shang-Chi was introduced in that film. And he's
Yeah,
also in Doomsday. It's kind of weak. Spider-Man No Way Home. Why? Well, because the multiverse and because Tobey Maguire is in that film, and obviously he's in Doomsday as well.
Yeah.
Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. No,
No.
and never.
No.
Because that film should only be watched if you're struggling to sleep at night. Captain America, Brave New
Damn.
World. Whoa, that's the hardest sell, actually. That's a much harder sell than Shang-Chi. Why do you need to watch Captain America, Brave New World?
Because Falcon
Because
is now
Sam
Captain
Wilson is now
America.
Captain America?
Just because
I mean,
Falcon
if
is
you've
now
already
Captain
watched
America, that's the only
Endgame,
reason why.
You know that already. Although there is a mention of him reforming the New Avengers, and so the New Avengers, that's a plot point in Doomsday, I suppose. But seriously, a throwaway line in Doomsday would have been sufficient. And it doesn't help that of all the films on this list, Captain America Brave New World is, I think without any doubt, by far and away the worst one. I rewatched it recently and it's unwatchable. It's horrendous.
It was bad.
Deadpool and Wolverine,
Shang-Chi was
because both of those characters are in Doomsday. Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, another terrible movie.
Okay, so that confirms Deadpool is in Doomsday. That confirms that Deadpool is in Doomsday.
Probably because of the ending of that movie, where Doctor Strange and
But why does you have to watch that? Because
they go into the portal.
she's not coming back.
The post-credit scene.
Scarlet Witch, Wanda's not coming back.
I guess because there's another Avengers team, previously the Thunderbolts. The Fantastic Four First Steps.
Yeah,
I'm
that
not really
makes sense.
surprised that makes the list. Primarily because Doom has a very brief post-credit scene in that movie, but that scene is so brief and so.
It makes sense though. Fantastic Four First Steps would be a must see. Endgame, I mean Infinity War, Endgame, Fantastic Four.
Just to prepare for Doomsday. I cannot believe
Those should be
they've
like
come
the
up with
only
an
must see
essential viewing
movies.
list for Doomsday. Why is this necessary? Why is this necessary?
Well, there's like 12 movies.
I think it speaks
and a
volumes
TV show.
as to how convoluted and bloated the film is, with too many characters and too many callbacks.
Luckily,
Too
I've
many
already seen
callbacks
all
to
of those,
events
so I
from
don't have to
previous
go back
films.
and watch any of that
And I'm
to go see
surprised
Doomsday.
that they didn't throw the Marvels on the list, given that there is a crossover with the X-Men universe at the end of that film, and I think that plays into Doomsday in some way. But perhaps they couldn't bring themselves to put the Marvels on the
If
list.
Brie
because
Larson
it
isn't in the movie, that's
it's
probably
even
why they
worse
didn't
than Brave
include
New
the
World.
Marvels
It's a dreadful movie.
as a must-see movie prior to Doomsday.
And I'll know
Brie
this when I
Larson may
watch
not be
Doomsday,
coming
but
back
I
as Captain
think
Marvel.
that there had to have been a way to write the film in such a way that you don't have to have watched 14 previous films and one TV show.
I'm sorry, not 12 shows.
This
I
list
mean 12
is an
movies,
absolute
13
requirement.
movies and one TV show.
And as a result of that, this may hurt Doomsday a bit if audiences find the film to be somewhat inaccessible in places. But I'm hoping I'm wrong. Let me know what you guys think.
No,
in the
because
comments
most of the
below.
people
If you
going to
haven't
see
already,
it
please
are
subscribe to the channel. Thanks for
MCU,
watching. Take
are
care.
hardcore
I'll see you
MCU
next time.
fans.
Bye-bye.
They would have seen all of that stuff. The only ones they may not have seen was X-Men and X2. But everything else, they would have seen.
I love the free vacuum.
And I'm surprised they didn't say Spider-Man was a
Oh,
must-see,
man, we can
since
use
the
it.
plot leak shows that
Let that
they're
vaccine
going to destroy Tobey Maguire's universe in the beginnings. We'll see. I was gonna go into the lanterns thing, but I want to watch these other things first. And then if I get to it, I might still watch it, but I don't know if I'm still gonna be live when I'm watching it. We'll see.
Yo, how is it a red flag? Because I ain't got no kids.
I don't either.
That's
And I'm
what
married.
this little heifer told me recently.
The year is 1995, and I'm 14
My favorite
years
year.
old. I'm just starting high school, but already I'm a member of
I
the
graduated
Mount
high
Olive
school.
Missionary Baptist
He
Church
just
in
started.
El Paso
I
Heights.
graduated in
And my
1995.
grandmother and my mother are letting me know that I gotta be a man. And I've always knew that. My granddad always told me that. And many of you black men can relate. There was a lot of community pressure for you to go to
I love
college
1995.
and
I wish I could
do
go back to
something and come
1995.
back and build your community. But also
I wish
there
I
was
could
the
either go back to
pressure of being a
1995
man that would marry a woman
or
and also learning how
to
to be nice to a
1989.
lady. If you walk on the sidewalk, she walks on the inside, you walk on the outside.
80,
Because you had to impress
yeah,
the
89.
community and be respected that you made it, and that being from the ghetto didn't define you. You did the right thing and made the community look good. And that's how a lot of black men came up during that time until something changed. In generations before me, such as the baby boomers, the silent generation, and the great generation, as a black man, there was a lot of conformity. You had so much stacked against you to do very well. And if you wanted to be respected in black America, one of the great things you needed to do was become married. Being married meant that you were more serious as a candidate for employment. And also, you were supposed to be a provider and have kids. Don't forget the 2-car garage and the 3-bedroom house.
He's right, you know.
But the 2000s brought about a different change. And so did the 2010s. In the 2020s, it created a new, different type of black man. A black man that wasn't so concerned about marriage, wasn't concerned about how the community felt about him. But the issue is he still kept having all of this access to the economy. And in many ways, he had more access than before with less obligation or ties to the community. And when you see a black man like that today, he might sound like this.
I don't know. I feel like everybody in my family had kids when they was under 22, so it'd be like, I ain't never wanted to be that, and I'm the most successful out of my family, so it'd be like, did I do the right thing, or?
That is popular streamer Ben the Don. He's 34 years old. I believe he's from the Memphis area, and he's super rich. And despite having all of this money and opportunity, a lot of people are pressuring him to have kids. He's addressed this multiple times on multiple streams, but it seems like he's had none.
Past 30 and having that age with no kids is crazy work. How is that crazy? I don't want kids right now. I'm getting richer. Y'all could be poor having kids.
Exactly. Exactly.
I know people want to say the reason why he feels like this is because of those black women. And no, it's much bigger than that. Just because a man doesn't want kids, it's not because a man has a problem with black women or black women are not feminine enough. It's bigger than that. It's actually due to this particular sociological phenomenon called individualization. In the 1980s, German sociologist Ulrich Beck really defined this theory, and he stated that individualization is a social process in which people build their identity, lifestyles, and relationships around their personal choices rather than fixed group expectations or traditional roles. Let me give you an example of what I'm talking about. In the 60s, 70s, and 80s, it was group first dynamic thinking. The black community had to be like that because civil rights in the 60s, then you still face some level of systemic racism as systemic prejudice against the black community lowered in those years. What we used to see at that particular level was the kind of rise of feminism and black women doing very well, and then people catering to women over time. And what happened was black men were kind of being left behind as it was, which made this process very easy because black women had individualization themselves. So eventually black men caught on to this. And there was no other men that it benefited more than black men. They were already sort of being castigated by the black community and the black church anyway. So there was nothing to be loyal to. Why follow traditions? Why follow family expectations? Why conform to a group that largely you feel distant from anyway? And then in the 2000s, the new economy emerged of e-commerce, eBay. Then what you're seeing in the 2010s and 2020s, content creation money, and the rise of other groups like the Passport Bros. And so what it gave is the opportunity for black men to walk their own road, which they were already doing anyway. And so that's what they started to do. They started prioritizing themselves more than the group.
Yeah, fuck the group.
Let me give you an example.
I'll say that. I'll say it all the time. Fuck the group.
Raising kids is hard, especially nowadays, bro.
Close this in the pen for
He's absolutely right.
This is
And
my
fuck them
comeback.
kids, man.
Transform your future with a degree at Purdue Global.
I do want kids though. That's why I haven't taken TRT
You
yet.
told mom to send her
After
prescription
I
to
have my
Amazon
kids,
Pharmacy.
I must probably start taking TRT just because I'm in my late 40s now. In my 50s, I want to be able to enjoy my life like I was in my 20s and 30s with the same sort of level of vitality,
You can declutter
so
on
I can
Vinted?
raise my kid
Yep.
or
Earn
kids.
cash from homeware, fashion, sports gear, collect.
Right now, I have two things: freedom and peace. And I ain't trading them for nothing
Hell
in
yeah.
the world.
Now, this is a young man.
Damn
40
right.
years ago, you would never hear a guy talk like this because he should be getting married and he should be having kids.
Nah,
But that's not
I
what he's
don't, I
talking
don't,
about.
I don't think any guy under 35 should be having kids. I mean, should
I ain't
be
gotta worry about taking
getting
nobody to
married.
the doctor. I can spend my money and my time however.
At least 30, but definitely.
Because he's
I mean,
worried
at least
about himself.
at least 30,
And this
but
is exactly what Ben the Don
preferably
is trying to
35.
do. He's worried about himself. I don't
Because
think
you're
this
not really
has as much
a
to do
guy's
with
not really a
child
grown
support
man until he's
or
like
dealing
35.
with black women or dealing with any of those things as it does to his
And you don't know
own
what you
personal
like.
benefit. And even though
And where you
it's
wanna
his
go with in
own
your life
personal
until then.
benefit, you will always have guys
I
saying
wouldn't
stuff
get married
like
before
this.
then. I'm glad I
Such a
didn't.
weird culture.
I told my
People
friends
so
that when we were in our 20s,
They don't
I
have
lived it.
kids. Maybe one. When I moved to
Maybe.
California,
Many of
like,
them did
guys
as
have
well.
kids. It's like a red flag. You know what I'm saying? You trying to be cool at 50? You in a bar at 50?
Supposed to get married, right? Well, what are your options if you decide to do what Ben the Don is trying to do? Number one, provider expectations become optional. That means, do I want to be a father? Do I want to be a husband? And to be honest, this is actually better, not only for black men, but for black women themselves if they decide to go that route, because a man who's deciding to become a father really wants to do it and wants to be good at it. Nobody wants to feel that I need to get married or I have to have kids in order for society to accept me or to think that I'm serious. Now, there's no pressure to do that. For example, I'm 45. I've never been married. I do want to be married one day. I do want to have kids one day, but it's not something that's mandatory. It is optional. And guess what? That wouldn't be the case in the 80s or the 70s in order for me to do very well. It would look weird if I didn't do it, but it is optional. It gives me time to find the best woman for me, and it gives me the leverage and other black men the leverage. Number two, marriage becomes a choice. It is not a requirement. You're not going to be able to shame any black man anymore because he doesn't want to get married. It is largely a choice. And if he wants to get married, he will do so because it benefits him. Three, geography makes it easier than before. This was something that the other generations did not enjoy. And I'm talking about the great generation, the silent generation, or even some of the baby boomers. You typically got married and worked where you lived, and that was your work. But the internet changed all of that.
Yep.
So many people
Allow me
live
to
now
go
in
fly up
places like
8,500
Atlanta, New
miles
York,
away from
Houston,
Baltimore and find my
Detroit.
wife.
Some people like myself live in Africa. Some people live in Thailand. Some people live in Latin America.
And I will be
Now,
going
with
back
the
there as
economy
well
being so open, I
to
have
stay.
all those opportunities, or you have those opportunities. And then number 4, race doesn't define me all the time. Like, I am black and I'm a black American, and just like you are black and black American, but that doesn't mean I'm tied to the AME Church, or I'm tied to Church
Exactly.
of God in Christ,
Exactly.
or I'm tied to National Baptist or Southern Baptist. I'm not looking for the approval of the pastor anymore. I'm not looking for the approval of the church mothers anymore. That's what happened in the 70s and the 80s. Those days are gone. And then also 5, I can have identity changes if I like. So many people do it. They change careers. They do different things. It's very hard to do that if you are married or if you have kids. And the other thing is, a lot of black men are just living for themselves. They're doing the same things that many black women are doing, which is prioritizing their own individuality. Now, the issue becomes when men do that. And it is very dangerous in society when men do take that route. But so many black men are going this way. And there are some downsides to consider for this, right? Because not everything is perfect. There are no solutions, even trades off, right? So, you are at a greater risk of isolation. And I feel that all the time. I miss being home. I miss being in Black America. A lot of brothers are away from their family, right? You do lose a part of the community support. And I'm a living witness of that. That's something that you do give up. And then with everybody kind of thinking for themselves and living for themselves, then that is kind of dangerous. And when you look at other groups, such as like, the Indians or Filipinos or Ethiopians or Eritreans or Somalis, you kind of can see the togetherness of certain people, and you do kind of miss that. But overall, this is what individualization is doing in this particular generation. And again, if there's just no value, people are going to live for themselves. We could talk about child support. We could talk about black women. We could talk about black men. We could talk about baby mamas or baby daddies. But largely for me, none of that is really important. What's more important is that people just want the opportunities as much as possible to live and enjoy their life. And those guys who decide if they're going to go ahead and do that, they will do it once they get ready. Not every man wants to give up their freedom and trade it in for more responsibility. So guys, what do you think? It's your boy, J.A.C. Jackson, back at it again.
Exactly.
I really appreciate you for all that you do. Subscribe to the bell. We're out.
Let's throw a penalty flag on the hospital monopolies and their abusive price increases. 4 times the rate of inflation. That's 15 yards for price gouging. 500% markups on cancer drugs. That's 15 yards for predatory pricing. Hiding their price hikes from patients and ignoring federal transparency laws. That's another 15 yards for deception. Tell Congress, stop the big hospitals and their pricing abuses.
David Yerman Curb Chain Collection.
Thank God I'm starving. Can you recommend a good place to eat, honey?
Oh, absolutely.
What do you think would be harder for you, like becoming a comedian or going back to the Ranger School at this age that you're at now?
Probably a comedian, bro. Like, I can do crowds, but I wouldn't know what to do if a crowd didn't react to my joke. I gotta run off the stage, bro. I'm not sticking around for that. You know what? This isn't for me. No.
Well, that is a horrible feeling.
Oh, you got it happen.
Oh, it's gonna happen to every comedian.
Oh, okay.
Every comedian goes through that, and you'll go through a stretch of that.
You know what
No,
it's like?
no, I'm quitting, bro. I
You
never
know what?
quit anything, but I quit that. Quit.
You know what it's like? It's like your whole Ranger School squad getting a first time go, and you gotta redo that phase.
Nope, 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 nope. Not happening. Not happening. How long have you been doing comedy?
I've just hit 4 years.
4 years now. Yeah, where at? All in Carolina or what?
No, all over the place.
Holy shit. Okay.
California, Texas, wherever they're showing. I'm mostly geared towards veterans. Like we do a lot of VFW shows, American Legions, special shows at clubs for veterans and military first responder type thing. So that's helped a lot. Is the military and the veteran community. I don't gotta look for the laughs. The laughs are there. We already share the suck. I just gotta remind them about the suck.
Embrace the suck.
I hate to say it, it's an easy laugh. It's like being at the barbecue.
Yep.
So it's been good. It's real good.
Would you say military is harder guys to impress or civilian?
What's going on, folks? No Excuses is now live on Amazon. Right, you can go order your copy. Guys, let me know what you think. I greatly appreciate you guys. Again, No Excuses live right now on Amazon for you to order. Civilians for sure, especially nowadays that everyone's so politically correct. I've had 5, 6 sets in a row just kill at different states, different posts, different venues, and then I'll go to a civilian show and I do that same set, and it's like you can see the cringe on their face. It's like,
oh wow,
they don't get it. They don't get military humor. You know what it is? They don't.
Military humor is dark. Military humor is dark.
Hardship.
Really? Oh, that's just the softness, and I think it's not even generation. When you say generation or this country has just gotten softer over time.
Well, I would have to say it's not just this country, it's global.
Oh.
I mean, if you think about geopolitical aspect of this, you got Russia, this powerhouse, and they're still struggling with Ukraine. That's because their soldiers are quitting, their soldiers don't want to be there, it's cold, I'm hungry. So that's around the world. And you just it's a thing. They don't make them like they used to. I know exactly what that means now. Now,
so after this, I think I'm gonna end this. I don't, because I was gonna watch The Lanterns is Stupid Edge, but
20+ years spent in the military.
No, because I don't want to be
your trade
stuck
as far
here
as, do you approach
while I'm
comedy
doing
from a
that stuff
different, more methodical, MPMP
for 42 minutes.
How do you do you approach it better now, or
with the light on? I want to be able to take my shirt off, turn the light off, chill. I can't do that with the live stream because it wouldn't look seemly.
And back then, the political climate, the environment was all different. You could talk about whatever.
Although I did do live streams where I just didn't give a single solitary F, and I took like a nap and just sat there and watched TV.
And be kind of crude about it.
Went back and forth to like the restroom, not the people to see. I mean, like I left the room and
you gotta set it up nice so they get the
like
punchline.
To the restaurant, went downstairs to cook food, came back and ate it.
Another one is that
I didn't care, and I think ever since I've done that,
you just look back and you're like,
I've lost my
you could do a whole,
I've lost a lot of rotation.
Hour set,
so
just on Ranger School, just on one phase of Ranger School. But you got these young.
I think the algorithm picked up that I was kind of demoralized in my streaming. It wasn't pushing it anymore, unfortunately.
I'm gonna need you to edit that part.
Either that or I just stream too early now.
I got you. But, it's a lot more methodical now. And I hate to be that guy, but I will say, going to regiment, being in that stuff and all that, you appreciate the methodology on how to do something right. It's not just going up there winging it. Some people could do that and it works, but there is a method to it, and I've learned it the hard way. But now, it works.
That's awesome.
So
That's
I
awesome.
may
Now,
have
we were talking
so I
about
may have
earlier,
done it to
like,
myself
there's,
with doing that.
And Nick,
Then I
wanna
did
say it might be
another
the
one
same
where I
thing
kind
within
of
the African American community.
I
right?
didn't have a
There's
meltdown, but I
different
kind of
levels
crashed out
to your
on
blackness.
some
Just like
annoying
we were
ass
talking about, there's
trolls
different
on my
levels
stream. Was
to
like,
your
I would need
Hispanic
any of
heritage,
you to
right?
watch
We
me. I
got
don't care,
Spain, right?
and that
And
may
is
have
it
hurt as well. So
PR, like
it is
Puerto
what it is. But
Rico,
I'll,
then you have
like I said,
like
I'm gonna
DR, like what's the hierarchy? Because it always blows my
switch
mind.
off
Like
to
there's
making
still
mostly short form
classes
and long
within
form content
the
and,
race.
and get away
That
from
dynamic
the
has
live
kind of
streams.
changed, but you go through the history books and everything. You had.
But I need to keep my
Spain
watchable
and
hours,
the
so I'm
first
still
place
doing
they
my live
landed was
streams until I
Dominican
make those
Republic.
long form
Right,
content
Hispaniola.
videos.
So at one point that was the hub. So you were like a little Spain there, but then Cuba came into play, and that was the hierarchy. You were Spaniard, and then you were Cuban, and then Puerto Rican, Dominican, and then Latin America. But with the arts, music, with sports, with soccer, that has changed that dynamic because now you got powerhouses that are like, okay, we're not economic powerhouses, but we got the best soccer players and the whole world follows us. So it's a weird dynamic now. But it's like that everywhere. I mean, when I was growing up, the Spike Lee movie was School Days. The light skins versus the dark skins.
Yeah.
He's old. He is old.
Yep.
You got Jay Dornier saying shit like, "Oh, you from Yonkers, right?" No, bro, I'm from the Bronx. Okay.
What's the difference though? That's always weirded me out about like New York.
Yeah.
You say somebody's from Bronx or Brooklyn or Yonkers.
Oh, they
like,
take it personal, bro.
For what? I mean, it's all one the same location though, right?
No.
So Manhattan,
Yonkers isn't part of the city. It's part of upstate.
Other land masses, Brooklyn being the biggest one. It's all and that goes.
And the
back
boroughs
to,
are very
that goes back to
competitive.
when it was
It's
cool
different cultures
to
in
be poor,
in each
to be
borough.
gritty, to be,
Because
that's
each
where
borough
all
is
that
really a
comes from,
county of the state as well.
I grew up in a worse place, so I'm harder, I'm tougher, I'm this, that, and the other. And then you throw in the mix, you're like, you from Yonkers, like get your ass out of here. Y'all
Yonkers is a nice spot.
You hit me hard. I was like, what?
Yonkers is the nicest spot.
Yeah, so that's where that comes from. Everybody, back then.
Yeah, but Yonkers was kind of rough.
I'll say back then because I look back and I'll talk about, 30 years ago, 30, 40 years ago, your street cred came from being from the street. It came from being from the Bronx, from Brooklyn. Hip hop was only there or Los Angeles. No one even thought about doing hip hop from the Midwest or anything. So because it had to be where you were from, what you went through. It's kind of like that whole veteran community thing.
Yeah.
It's a shared experience.
Yep.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's like Chris was saying the other day when he was in, like, he's from one shitty part, I'm from one shitty part, and he's from one shitty part. Yeah, it's almost like something that bonds us, right? So yeah, to all the folks out there from shitty parts of the country, shout out to you. Yeah. What's going on, folks? Premium cuts of meat without the premium.
All right, I'm gonna play the beginning of this Lanterns thing. I'm gonna go use the restroom and then see how long I stay into it before I end the stream. So I was gonna play like 40 minutes ago, but then I wanted to watch these other videos. So, we'll start it. Yeah, this new Minions movie is going to do well. And there's so many movies that's hitting a billion this year in 2026. It's probably saved the theaters from closing.
$1,000 shopping spree at Old Navy, the official back-to-school retail apparel partner of Mr. Beast. Where you can get hoodies, jeans, graphic tees, whatever you need for this back-to-school year, they have available at Old Navy. Make sure you go to your local Old Navy or OldNavy.com. Whatever you need for this back-to-school year, they have. You know what's crazy, Nolan? What? They're not even going to know we were ever here. Like, let's head out. We're going to revamp this back to normal. And they won't know this ever happened. I can move now? Yeah.
We have lanterns to talk about.
Yeah, so that released on Sunday. I did a watch party. I'm working on a video right now. It'll be released tomorrow. And I don't know about you guys, but I knew what I was getting into. Like, it's Damon Lindelof, it's Tom King. Oh, and if people are trying to dismiss Tom King's involvement, story credit in the credits. Yeah, and you can if you've read any Tom King, you can tell the parts that were the grandma like the fuck. That was a Tom King part. That was a Tom King contribution.
Tom King, Lindelof, James Gunn. It's fucked. It's no surviving.
Fucked. But I'm with it for the first 10 minutes. I'm kind of like, all right, I don't like this Hal very much, but maybe they're going somewhere. And then it hits a fucking wall, and then just goes downhill for me. I don't know about you guys, but maybe I've just watched too much Jar Jar Abrams and Bad Reboot and recognize bullshit mystery box when I see it. But if you think about any of the
Alrighty, I'm back.
in the first
Sorry about that.
episode that have no...
I'm gonna rewind because I didn't hear what they said in the beginning.
Nerdrotic.com.
We need to get a water refill too.
We have lanterns to talk about. Yeah, so that released on Sunday. I did a watch party. I'm working on a video right now. It'll be released tomorrow. And I don't know about you guys, but I knew what I was getting into. Like, it's Damon Lindelof, it's Tom King. Oh, and if people are trying to dismiss Tom King's involvement, story credit in the credits. Yeah, and you can if you've read any Tom King, you can tell the parts that were the grandma like the fuck. That was a Tom King part. That was a Tom King contribution.
Tom King, Lindelof, James Gunn. It's fucked. It's no surviving.
Fucked. But I'm with it for the first 10
People
minutes.
really
Like,
hate
all
Tom
right, I
King.
don't like this Hal
He
very
is a
much,
nice
but maybe
guy
they're
in
going
person
somewhere.
because he lives
And then
locally
it's
to
a
me.
fucking wall.
It
And then
doesn't
just
mean
goes downhill
his
for me. I don't know about you guys.
his comic
But
book
maybe I've just watched too
contributions
much
are
Jar Jar
good.
Abrams and Bad Reboot and recognize bullshit mystery box when I see it. But if you think about any of the events that happened in the first episode that have no substance, no connectivity, nothing's good, and it's just plot element. And Disper said it best. It's just there for you to theory craft and figure out, but none of it within the show makes any fucking sense. And that's gone.
The thing, man, I'm not playing this fucking game again. Where I have to guess at a billion options and then find out what are the worst ones possible by the end, and nothing makes any fucking sense. Like, no, thank you. I can just call it bad now. There already is.
The only thing that would make sense is if the entire town is aliens and they're immigrants. I'm just trying to think it from Hollywood's perspective. So it's a bunch of immigrants who settled in a Nebraska town and try to assimilate, and they're trying to avoid war, and it's actually the Green Lantern's fault that this war is starting, and then Hal Jordan figures it out and then kills himself to make way for Jon Stewart to help figure the thing out.
What?
I could be totally wrong, but man, we've had shows like that do that before. Mexicans, not Mexicans, just immigrants. It doesn't. You don't have to single out poor Mexicans.
No, I really hope I'm wrong here. I really hope I'm wrong here, because if I'm wrong, I'm going to laugh my head off, and it's going to be hilarious. Yeah, I don't think that was Hal Jordan. I think that was a Manhunter. Because we know that there's Manhunter.
It's some sort of shape-shifting,
and Manhunters can shape-shift.
Yeah.
So the Manhunters were like the first original, when I say Green Lantern Corps, they were like the first space police.
Yeah.
And the Manhunters sort of lost their way, shall we say. They were more keen on dealing retribution and their brand of justice than so they got out of control, and then the Guardians fucking booshed them, and the Green Lantern Corps was the sort of like a second attempt. Loved the way, by the way, in the show that Hal Jordan couldn't even say Green Lantern Corps. He said, "I'm a Green Lantern from
Green Lanterns,"
and
that was dumb.
So, if this is Manhunters, then I don't know who the other species is meant to be. Is it going to be Martians? Is that the way they're going to
talk of Red Lanterns?
Well, Red Lanterns is like anger. That's like driven by anger, not.
I know. That's what other people are saying. I have no idea.
But that wouldn't make sense.
So?
I was going to say that won't stop them.
Oh yeah. What the fuck are you talking about?
So yeah, I think I think that's actually going to be not necessarily a manhunter, but it could be a Martian that's been shapeshifted and killed to send a message, or whatever. But I fucking hate this show. I fucking hated it. I mean, I hated it.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty bad.
I thought it was pretty bad. And again, everybody could be aliens. We don't know enough to make any judgments, but I'm going to make them anyway because that's what I do. So I'm basing it on the first episode, and I wasn't really grabbed or drawn in by a alcoholic, arrogant, loser, scruffy Hal Jordan, who's obviously it's just so tired, and he's obviously changed in the last 10 years, and something broke him, and it probably has something to do that they're tying it to Avensur's rival. That town is 20 miles away. So Hal Jordan says at some point in the show, he's like, that crash was coordinated because they really didn't want Earth to be part of the Green Lanterns. This is all like some kind of conspiracy, blah 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 blah, whatever. But what they're trying to, instead of making this grand space adventure, is grounded into a true detective that's also like a Taylor Sheridan show, right? They have a Taylor Sheridan villain. Did you notice? I'm doing my watch party, and I'm like, I wouldn't be surprised because they hate Taylor Sheridan in Hollywood. They're jealous of him. I'm like, I wouldn't be surprised if they take a shot at Taylor Sheridan. Did you see what the county was called? It's called Sheridan County.
Okay.
And like, I'm like, oh my fucking God, they did it. And I'm like, I was joking, like, but they called it Sheridan County. So they encounter, what's the ranch owner's name, or the custodian, because he doesn't own it. Yeah, basically. The guy from Army of the Dead. The dead one.
I didn't watch that fucking film.
Well, even if you watched it, you couldn't have seen it. It was half blurry. Macon, yeah. So he's sitting there talking to Hal about aliens. Like, he knows about the aliens, and he's the one who bails Hal out. And then he gets in this whole conversation about colonization as
colonization.
Why would you use that word?
Horrible. Because it's all an immigration allegory. Everything's just an immigration allegory.
Wouldn't you say conquering? Wouldn't you use the word conquering? Like a dude from Middle America, like just throwing out the word colonization conversationally, just would never. And so he's an alien, or this is written by Damon Lindelof. I don't know what it is, but nobody would just go start talking about colonization. And
exactly, like colonization is horrendous. Either way, whichever way you look at it.
He said, I'm not an isolationist with my head in the sand. And then he gets into colonization. It's like, you're talking about alien races conquering, not colonizing.
Yeah.
So like that was a red flag for like how that was a Tom Kingism, but because nobody brings that up in conversation unless you're an academic or we have to talk about it here on YouTube or something. But then we get to that end, right? So it's out there now. Hal is shot in the head, or a copy of Hal, and it could be. And I was watching some videos as to that, and the theories are everywhere. And like, I am not steeped in the Green Lantern lore like others are. Nothing against Green Lantern. I was just never into it that much. I just read the like big events. Yeah, and that was pretty much it. And I certainly think Hal could still be around, but the fact of the matter is he's still going to either be dismissed. Like Mala brought up Parallax in our conversation, and I'm like, maybe, but it's too, like, you have to build up Parallax. You have to, that would take years to build up Parallax. But I know.
Yeah, when I put the tweet out, because was it discussing film or something, said it stays, it's my truth to comics or the heart of comics. It's not even remotely like the Green Lantern comics in the slightest. And I said, and he killed Hal Jordan in episode 1. Now, they technically did, regardless of whether it turns out to be a manhunter or an alien shapeshifter or what, it doesn't matter. Hal Jordan is shown shot to death at the end.
The murder mystery is not the mass shooting, which we'll talk about in a second because it makes no sense. It's Hal Jordan being shot at the end.
It's Hal Jordan being shot.
Yeah.
And then, I had a bunch of NPCs going, actually, Hal Jordan has died. Have you never heard of Parallax? Oh my God.
Oh God.
And I was just, so I did a different tweet, complete separate tweet, saying, bringing Parallax into bringing Hal Jordan dying or Parallax into the first episode of Green Lantern is like having Bane break Batman's back in Detective Comics 27.
Yeah, it is.
Right.
I just want to make sure we understand.
Right.
Very possible because we've already retired Hal Jordan in the first entry of
in the first episode, yeah.
So whether or not he's dead, whether or not he's paralyzed, whether or not he's fucking on a different planet, whether or not he's just going to sit in a fucking ranch and let his ring be used as one of, they've decided his time is done. They introed him and have already given him his outro. We're going to find out what the middle piece is.
Yeah.
So like my point being, everything's on the table. Like the idea that he's like, well, Hal's got a story to tell is like they're not really that interested. Like why can't the story start in what was it like when he first got the ring? Why can't we do that? It's like no. Like,
Everybody knows that.
No, because he's white.
But they don't.
Well, it's fucking absurd because Green Lantern's awesome.
Exactly.
Like at his best and. When I watched this episode with Free, by the end of it, I was like, well, Green Lantern's fucked for another decade. We're not going to get anything. Yeah. This is great. There's people going wild for the constructs, by the way, when they're not only a brown, like, dust, but they're also extremely simple things. There's nothing fun. There's like a sphere.
Yeah, but having somebody light a cigarette on a fucking green is probably the stupidest thing I have fucking seen.
Yeah, I mean, aside from Aaron Pierre having sex with a rather unattractive grandma.
But like, couldn't give me a hammer, couldn't give me a brick wall, couldn't give me
a mallet. Yeah.
And I'm saying that as like the intro to this power, not. I don't want that to be the fucking end of the season. We get a wall, we get a hammer. Like, you know, good God.
It's been really sort of pedantic. When Hal stops the guy from puts the barrier around the guy who explodes himself, who suicide bombs himself, the construct shouldn't have been destroyed. It should have been contained within the construct.
He was low on power.
Well, no, it's not power. It's not. It's not how the ring works. It's not how the ring works. It's charged and it operates off willpower. And they never established in it at all that Hal's got weak willpower. Far from it. He's still a very dominant guy in this. He's still a very fuck you, it's my ring, you know, you can fucking be my part. But Hal Jordan doesn't make any sense because this isn't fucking Hal Jordan. Doesn't act like Hal Jordan, doesn't speak like Hal Jordan.
Exactly.
This is not how Guardians are chosen. Green Lanterns are chosen. Guardians don't go, you're going to be the next Green Lantern when he fucking dies. That's not how it works.
It surely isn't. That's where it doesn't make sense.
And not to mention, like for the amount of exposition, they really did a shit job of explaining how Green Lanterns work, even though they have like 3 separate scenes doing it.
One of them, and then when he drives him off the cliff with the ring, which he had to grab a flying ring anyway. And he says, "How did you save yourself?" And John Stewart went, "I put bubble wrap around me." I'm like,
in any case, I think I'm gonna wrap it here, guys. I mean, no one's talking anyway. There's only one person watching, which includes myself. So, I'm gonna end it here. That way I can like kind of relax the way I want.
Music brought me back to life.
But thanks for whoever's watching. I'm out. Peace.
You're gonna shoot me like when it hits.
If I can end it, maybe